We will now call to order the Cuyahoga County regular meeting for Tuesday, August the 9th, 2016. Clerk, please call the roll.
Calling the roll, Mr. Germana.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Schron.
Here.
Ms. Conwell.
Here.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones is absent at the moment. Ms. Brown.
Here.
Mr. Hairston.
Here.
Ms. Simon.
Here.
Mr. Greenspan.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Council President Brady.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll turn to Councilman Schron for our silent meditation this week.
Thank you, Mr. President. This last week we lost one of those individuals who held his head high and spoke, I think, from the point of view of trying to get things done in a bipartisan way. I think that if you look at his track record, he's been good. Congressman Steve LaTourette died and was a friend to everybody in this community, both Republican, Democrat, and Independent. He was a friend. You saw the comments in the paper about his background and even working with folks way outside of his district. It was good for the northeastern Ohio area, defender of our water and all the other aspects of going on here. And so ask for a moment of silence in Steve LaTourette's name.
All right. Thank you, Councilman. Under public comment related to the agenda, what I'd like to do this evening, Madam Clerk and members of council and the audience, is we believe we have several people. And so I would like to call up everybody who signed up. And if you haven't signed up, sign up. If you haven't signed up, sign up. And have people give their comments before we move on to the meeting so that you're not here for an hour waiting to speak. It's a little different than what we usually do, but this is the way we're going to do it this evening. So, Madam Clerk, who's first?
Reverend Pinckney Butts.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. We made it through the RNC. How about that? Yes, we did. God bless you. The race is not given to the swift, the battle to the strong, bread to the wise, nor favor to men of skill, nor wisdom to men of understanding. But time and chance happen to them all. And we've made it through another successful occasion in the city of Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, and I'm blessed that we were able to do so. For the agenda items, am I to understand that we're doing agenda and non-agenda at this time?
Right. This is your one shot,
Okay.
Reverend Pinckney, this week.
For the agenda items, resolution 17-0017 and resolution, the other one that deals with the casino funds that are, okay, Revenue Fund 140. Would you please review your records when you're doing this money to find out the rate of recidivism through these casino funds so that we can lower that epidemic, please? For the Health and Human Services Plan, I see you have a category of aging. Would you please find out how mentally ill people are being treated through the mental health, through the Health and Human Services process? How much money is being allocated for the healing, not medicating only, but healing of people in the Health and Human Services Department? Because there seems to be some type of thought concept that people just need to get a quick pill or a quick shot, and that takes care of the Health and Human Services. Please address that and correct that. I'd appreciate that. And if you need me any further to elaborate, I'd be glad to do so.
Thank you.
For the heavy machine operation, buckle hole operator, I'm all for that. The most amazing thing happened yesterday. I was sitting in the CMHA board meeting, and I heard some people come here talk about minority, whoever believes they're a minority, contractors not getting contracts. But there was only one bidder on one of the items. And that's amazing because I see that you're allocating funds to people that step forward. So I want to encourage people to step forward because you do generate and allocate the funds to where they need to be, and no one should ever feel slighted. And you may want to even check with CMHA and see how you can work that process on that resolution 144 to see how you can work those things out as well. And I'm going to leave at that since we have so many people that need to speak today. I have highlighted many different things, but I do want to just say that thank you for what you're doing in such a time as this. And thank you for being peaceful people and not being people who are doing things for your own hidden and selfish agendas. I've been many places and I've seen many people doing many different things, and they're stuck on themselves instead of meeting the needs of people and our animals, or especially our domestic animals. And I just want to say thank you to you this evening. And I want to thank you for considering my life and the value of it. Although my matters are still not properly addressed, I did want to just stop to say thank you because you need to hear that sometime. And I did bring something for you all. I'm going to give it to Jane. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Next speaker is Laura McShane. Thank you.
Hi, I'm here asking the county council to support greater funding of the Greater Cleveland RTA and to reopen Public Square to bus access and to coordinate transportation services between Amtrak, RTA, and overall green planning. I just came back from Cumberland, Maryland, where I took Amtrak, and people are doing bike aboard from Pittsburgh to Cumberland, and then riding the Great Allegheny Passage. And that kind of development is we have so much potential here with the connections that can be made and the destinations that we have, but there's no coordination between all of the different agencies. And the recent Tiger grant, which was a large federal transportation grant, did not go to RTA, which is a little distressing. What they did wrong in their application, I don't know, but it did go to the Metro Parks. So on the bright side, the Red Line Greenway is going to provide like a lifestyle trail that will connect the Detroit Shoreway neighborhood to downtown, and people can, it's multimodal because they can take the RTA downtown to work and then jog home. So those are the kind of things that people want in terms of lifestyle, and I'm so distressed that after the RNC was here, and we got the RNC because of our robust public transportation, that we're now, I mean, at every turn, it's being undermined and not supported by the Greater Cleveland Partnership or the downtown or the city of Cleveland, and whatever you can do to change that. And really, the change in what the Metro Park grant indicates is there's a shift in federal priorities. People want carless, networked, smart cities, and I'm asking you to use your influence to support and strengthen RTA, not undermine it. Thanks.
The next speaker is Mr. Satinder Puri.
Good evening. Good evening. Nice to see you all again. This is my 18th appearance. The subject of my comments is, Mayor Jackson, please open Superior Avenue. Also, welcome Jimmy DeMora Public Square, a product of Cleveland's corrupt system. The renovated public square, also known as Jimmy DeMora Public Square, because of the corruption involved, is a bogus project built with cheap materials and mostly paved with hard surfaces and interlaced with ribbons of concrete benches that have already started to stain. There was nothing wrong with the historic 218-year-old public square that a little rehabilitation could not fix. There was no shortage of grass, flowers, elegant trees, elegant granite benches, a fountain, a waterfall, and also a splash pool. RTA that serves Cleveland's poor, working class, seniors, disabled, and students is paying dearly for this bogus project, whose main objective is to raise the property values of the rich and powerful downtown, while the rest of us get shortchanged. With billions invested downtown, the poverty rate climbed from 31 to 37%. According to the 2012 Traffic Consultants Report, RTAs spent an estimated $3.5 million on additional operating costs during construction. Didn't get reimbursed for it. With Ontario Street permanently closed, RTA has to spend an estimated $1 million every year. Not getting compensated. If Mayor Jackson decides to close Superior Avenue, RTA will have to spend an estimated $2.6 million every year for full closure of both Ontario and Superior. So where is RTA going to get this money to support the rich and powerful in Cleveland, Ohio? Mayor Jackson is throwing RTA riders under the bus, so keep Superior Avenue open and compensate the RTA for the construction costs and the cost for closing Ontario Street. So welcome Jimmy Demora Public Square. I just came from there, a bogus project. You can hardly see anybody in the park though. Anybody you want to see people, just go all around them. No, hardly anybody in the park though. So I'm submitting a document for the record. Thank you for your attention.
The next speaker is Mr. Akshay Singh.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Akshay Singh. I'm a resident of Cleveland Heights. I am a member of Clevelanders for Public Transit. I wanted to just harken back to this spring. We had come to council and we had kind of resolved together that public transportation and making sure that it's fully funded is a responsibility of the county, of all of our municipalities, and that's something that we want to do together. One of the things that we had done in June was a transit town hall. It was attended by members of council, and one of the things that we are really looking for support on is to be able to convene a task force that would look at how do we make sure we're keeping both public transportation whole, as well as in the last month, we've found out that without Medicaid sales taxes, we're going to be both in the hole as a county, as well as $18 million for RTA alone. That would represent about a 10% service cut if it remains by 2018. That's something that we desperately need the county working on with the state to make sure that we're whole on. Obviously, the county budget is going to be a priority, but we're also saying that the task force has to make sure that as the county and the state are made whole, that RTA isn't left behind. $18 million would make RTA almost unserviceable for getting people to work, getting people to school, getting people to community amenities that they desperately need to make our city work properly. I just want to really thank Councilman Schron for the remarks. I think that Representative LaTourette, he was my congressman for 14 years. He's someone who fought desperately for making sure that public transportation was funded. He did this in a bipartisan fashion, so did the late Governor Voinovich. This is something that we have to do and make sure that is happening in a bipartisan fashion in Columbus. And we desperately need everybody in the county to be fighting for this. And we believe a task force with cities, counties, the county represented businesses that have an interest in seeing public transportation made whole and keeping Cleveland a thriving metro, because all of our thriving metros run on transit. That's just a fact. And we don't want to forget that. So thank you for my time.
The next speaker is Joanne Gerhardt.
Good afternoon, President Budish and council members. I am here to talk about saving Lakewood Hospital. The people of Lakewood have been swindled out of their publicly owned full-service hospital. The Cleveland Clinic Foundation colluded with hospital trustees and elected officials to breach a lease agreement extending to 2026, such that Cleveland Clinic Foundation would close Lakewood Hospital and open a brand-new inpatient hospital outside of Cuyahoga County in Avon. The people of Lakewood remain outraged by these actions. The process was improper, and the people's rights have been trampled. The Cleveland Clinic Foundation demands monopoly control by restricting reuse of the hospital campus by a competitor or other health systems. This new deal for Lakewood was drawn up by and for the financial benefit of the Cleveland Clinic Foundation alone. Lakewood now is going to be left with a small medical office building, a mere transfer station to divert patients to already overcrowded Cleveland Clinic Foundation affiliated hospitals outside our community. This is not world-class care for the people of Lakewood, but an abuse of corporate power. In Lakewood, there is a referendum on the ballot in November to reject the ordinance that allowed the Cleveland Clinic to close Lakewood Hospital. Your endorsement of this effort is one way to bring health care and relief to our taxpayers of Cuyahoga County. Because of preparing this, what is it, the 5-year plan that you are presenting and preparing, please think about the Hospital of Lakewood. Thank you so much.
Nathan Malakowski.
Good evening, Council. Hope you all are doing well. It's good to see you again. Hope you enjoyed these warm summer months since we last saw you. It's pretty clear why we're here. $18 million over the next 2 years for RTA because of Medicaid sales tax cuts. This impacts you all on a countywide basis. This impacts the state, impacts other states too. But at the bottom of it all, we need strong leadership at a county level. And we have, we've discussed this. We feel very strongly that the county needs to play a leadership role in a public way, pulling together a task force with stakeholders from across the county so we could start to tackle this problem. We can't just save the state on this. We can't just save the county. We need to work together so that RTA also has the money they need to provide those daily services that so many people who are your constituents depend on. So that's why we're here. We want to make it loud and clear that we'll keep on showing up. We'll be here. We really need leadership on a county level. We also wanted to ask you, County Executive Budish, to meet with us. We've talked with some people on your staff about putting this together, and we'd really like to know by the end of the week if we have some time, just an hour or two before the end of the month, to meet with some of our representatives of Clevelanders for Public Transit. We very greatly appreciate it. That's all I had. Thanks.
The next speaker is Alana Faith.
Good evening, Mr. Budish, President Brady, members of council. My name is Alana Faith. I'm a homeowner in the Westtown development area of Cleveland. You've seen my face before, and I've talked to a number of you. I'm here on a mission. As I've mentioned to you before, my boyfriend died. My 54-year-old healthy boyfriend died rushing to a bus. And my mission has become since then to make sure that no one else has to risk their life to use mass transit. As a member and on the executive board of Clevelanders for Public Transit, I want to bring to your attention that even if RTA would get $10 million, it would still be only about 3.5% of RTA's total budget this year. That still leaves RTA drastically short and is not a long-term solution. So even if the ideal investment from the state were made, it would not solve our problem. RTA is not a city problem. It goes beyond that. People come in from other counties, it serves the whole region, and it certainly is an issue that we need your support on to get more funding from the state and other sources. Mr. Budish, I was here 2 times ago. I brought a picture for you to sign of you and I together when I worked on your campaign. What that photograph didn't show was at the time I was in a compression cast from a broken ankle and still went out door to door passing out literature to support your campaign and vote for you. Mr. Brady, you know personally that both you and your wife have been supported by me in your campaigns and by my votes, because you have been you support my area where I lived. We used to be neighbors. Mr. Miller, I voted for you in past elections. So what I'm saying to you all is that we need your support. There's been a commitment made by some of the folks on the board, and there's been a breach of that commitment. I understand that you want to work in concert with other agencies and other aspects of government, but we need your support. This is at least a county issue, and you need to stand behind it. We cannot let RTA, who is the sole source of transportation for so many people in this region, go swirling down the drain, which is exactly what it's going to do. It is in a death spiral. One last comment. I've said this before, and I'll say it again tonight. After having supported all you gentlemen, if the elected officials do not support their constituents getting to work, getting to their jobs, then perhaps it's time that some of you folks be looking for new jobs yourself. With that, I thank you. And Mr. Brady, thank you for the consideration of letting us speak first before the meeting. I appreciate that. Thank you.
The next speaker is Rich Raphael.
Mr. President, Mr. County Executive, members of council, good evening. My name is Rich Raphael. I live in Councilwoman Conwell's district, and I am the newly appointed Executive Committee Chair at Clevelanders for Public Transit. We've been here before, and we need to come back again and revisit this thing. I need to make sure before I step away from this podium that you all are aware of some things, and the only way I can do that is if I tell you myself. We have officially now, with this new loss of income taxes from the managed health care plans looming on the horizon next year, a public transit funding crisis, not only in the city of Cleveland, not only in Cuyahoga County, but all across the state. RTA themselves predicts the last quarter of next year, $4.5 million additional loss of revenue. In 2018, that number jumps to 18 million. In 2019, that number jumps to 34 million if somebody doesn't find a solution to this problem. This adds 10 times more urgency to all of these issues than the last time we were before you, and I cannot emphasize that enough. 10 times more urgency. Some folks at RTA speak like they're willing to wait for a state who has been comfortable funding public transit at 63 cents a head for years and years to come up with an 11-hour deal to save the system. I'm not. And I say that both as Executive Committee Chair and a lifelong rider of RTA. We have a whole year to get in front of this thing, and I feel very strongly that it would be irresponsible for any of us to use any of that time from that whole year sitting back on our thumbs, waiting for somebody else to do something, when we have the ability to bring stakeholders to the table and talk about localized solutions now for months and months and months until that first benchmark in the last quarter of 2017 gets here. And I urge you all to give that active consideration. I urge you all, please work with us publicly to bring together a community stakeholder task force. We've talked about it before. Please, now it's more urgent than ever. Mr. County Executive, please, see if you can find some time to meet with us. We need to talk to you. And please, sooner rather than later. I cannot overemphasize the urgency in this to you all enough. This is a city issue, it is a county issue, and it is a state issue. And I feel that it would be best addressed starting here in this room with the help of all of you before we take it to the state, so that when we get to the state level, we have a strong united front that we can present to them that will really get their attention and show them that we're serious. Thank you for your time. If you all have any additional questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them after the meeting. Oh, and I'm sorry, I'm remiss. I would also, before I step away from the podium, like to acknowledge members of ATU Local 268 who have come here to support us as well. Thank you.
Marquez Manis.
Hi, I'm very nervous in front of you guys right now, but I'm a member of Public for Cleveland Transit, and I'm coming from a view of the RTA is my only way of riding. There is no other option for me. I don't have a car sitting in my driveway right now because it doesn't exist. I live in Ohio City, and that area is growing, and that area is growing because there's access to transit everywhere you can go. That transit is in danger right now. You risk these neighborhoods that are getting built up. We have this renaissance going on all around us. You look out front, you see the renaissance going on. That is in danger because people can't get access to the work. The workers that you guys depend on can't get to work. Economy goes down as a result. This happened in 2006 when the RTA had made major cuts before. They had to bring some of these routes back because people could not get to work. The economy suffered. So this is not just something, that it's only for poor people, only affects a certain segment. It affects everyone. I don't think people that are making these decisions understand it affects them. And that's the aspect that I'm coming from. This affects the economy as a whole. If you look at every other city that is thriving, so is their transit. New York City, Chicago, we can go on. You name a city that is thriving, their transit is also thriving. There's no coincidence. So there's something that we really have to think about if we want to save our city. We want to keep everything going that's going on. We got this. I like Public Square, but I just have a problem with it being blocked off to RTA. I have a problem with that right now. But I like it. But if you want this stuff to keep going and people, all the good stuff that's going on, it's no coincidence. The transit is all together. There's no other way I can put it. It's hand in hand. And I think everybody should really understand that. And that's where I'm coming from.
The last request I have is from Jean Lai.
Hi, I'm Jeannie Lee. Thank you to all the councilmen and women for taking the time to listen to me. I have kind of a different perspective on the importance of public transit. Like a quarter of the population, I have a mental illness, and I'm actually part of the 6% of the population that has a serious mental illness that basically makes me disabled in many ways. I am lucky enough to have a car that allows me to travel with relative ease, but as with mental illness, even though I do take care of myself, there are certain days where I am unable to drive. It's whether I'm not feeling well, if I'm too anxious, too manic, depressed, or anything like that. Sometimes I will be out somewhere and then, my brain will just start acting up and I won't be able to get home. It's especially given that next week 3% of routes are going to be cut and fares will increase. I can usually just stuck in the situation. I'm stranded there. I have no way to get home. It's pretty unpleasant being in an area where the environment is triggering, and you have to either try and get a ride from someone, especially if you can't get a ride, to try and get an Uber who's not there, or really just wait until hours until you're feeling better. And these experiences are not unique to me. Nearly all psychiatric medications have labels that say that impair driving. And I've been working on this for 10 years, and that it pales in comparison to people who have been trying to work on their mental health for like decades and decades. So given that the $18 million budget shortfall that's going to be happening and the 200 workers that are going to be unemployed, I need those routes to go home. Even though I do have a car, I am privileged enough to have a car, but I still need transit in case of emergency. If I have to get to the hospital, if I have to have someone help me. Not only that, it's been able, because my parents have been able to support me, that I can be as healthy as I am today. And the 200 employees who are going to lose their jobs, they won't be able to support their families. And basically, people who are disabled, they don't need any further disadvantages. And we need a task force to fight for people, especially people like me who can't often show up for events like this. And we need to have a task force to work not only for riders, but also bus drivers, mechanics, train operators. There's been no plan thus far, and we really can't wait for anything to come up. So to Council President Dan Brady, I would like to use your leadership to bring together a countywide task force, and to County Executive Armand Budish, we need to develop solutions, and if you could promise and feel obligated to meet with public transit, Clevelanders Public Transit at the end of the month, because Cleveland is a city that I call home, and I want you to make me believe and be proud of it. Thank you.
Ms. Lee, I apologize for saying your name incorrectly there.
Oh, it's okay. No one can pronounce it.
Mr. President, we do have one more request. William Tarter.
Good evening, County Council, County Executive Budish, and Council President Brady, and members of Council, including my own Councilman Sean. So William Tarter, I am representing myself, so it's just speaking as a citizen and as a constituent in District 6. And a couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to attend the NAACP convention in Cincinnati. And one of the things that was very interesting to me was to see the impact of services, public services, on the community, and especially communities that are underserved. One of the resolutions that came about from that convention was the passage of a resolution that supported public transit, and in particular, calling it a civil rights issue. And while there is some legal issues on what constitutes a civil right versus just an issue, I understand the legalese differentiation between the two. The important point was saying that public transit or transportation in general affects people from a wide variety of backgrounds, whether it is children who are getting to school, whether it is seniors who are getting to medical appointments, whether it is people who live in downtown and are going out to the suburbs to work, or people who are in the suburbs who are coming into the city to work. It touches a variety of constituents from across the county and across different issues. So whatever your interest is, whether it's economic development or community development, people with disabilities, it's important for me to kind of share with you how public transit intersects with all of those different components. It's my understanding that one of the things that will be discussed is a Health and Human Service strategic plan for the next 5 years. One of the things that could be an option is the inclusion of public transit as a health and human services issue or a strategy for the next 5 years. Now, all that I know there's a lot of departments that are going to be developing that and strategy that's going forward with that. Just something to think about even though the budgetary process has its process, and kind of thinking about the strategic priorities of the county, if this can perhaps be something that can be thought of as a health and human service issue as well as an economic development issue as well. So I thank you for the opportunity to kind of share those thoughts and perspectives. And I do look forward to answering any questions that the council members may have. Thanks.
Mr. President, I've received one more request from Nadine Jackson.
Good afternoon, County Councilman. My name is Nadine Jackson, and I am a resident of Bel Air Gardens, and I'm also the president of the local advisory council, one of the properties of CMHA. On August 13, 2016, RTA has posted the sign that the 78 line will no longer be circling the property by eliminating the bus stops in the Wanda Leila cul-de-sac. This elimination will have a huge impact on our community, which consists of the elderly, the disabled, and children in the townhomes. By Wanda and Leila being secondary streets, the city of Cleveland already is slow to clear during the winter, and CMHA also is slow to clear the sidewalks. That walk from Bel Air B 12,000 Wanda up into 12555 Bel Air Road is a quarter of a mile one way. We need the county to play a role in finding solutions to our public transit funding crisis. Thank you.
All right, that was the last one.
Thanks for coming. We appreciate your input. Like a motion to approve the minutes of the July 26th committee meeting of the whole and the July 26th regular meeting. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. There is no announcement from the council president on item 7 as of this evening. Is there any message from the county executive?
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. The conventions are over. I had the unique opportunity this year to attend both the RNC and the DNC. I will tell you that we all should be very proud of the people of Northeast Ohio. I particularly want to thank Frank Bova, Cliff Pinkney, Nate Kelly, Sharon Sobel Jordan, and many, many others, especially all our law enforcement personnel that kept us safe during the RNC. Without commenting on the content of either convention, I am proud to say that we did much better here in Cleveland than Philadelphia. The logistics, the transportation, the ease of access, the walkability of our city, it was all so much better in Cleveland than we encountered in Philadelphia. And most important, the friendliness and helpfulness of the people of Cleveland was just terrific. So I want to thank everyone. Just one last thing. I just want to comment on some of the comments that were raised today with respect to the Medicaid sales tax cuts that are coming. The likely impact to our county budget is probably $20 million a year or more. And there will also be, as has been noted, a terrible impact on RTA. I will assure you that we are working on this problem. We share your concerns. Council and I both share your concerns. Even without the coming cuts, the state has woefully underfunded public transit. I fought in the legislature for 8 years for additional funds for public transit, and I will continue to do so, and I can tell you I got some great partners here that will be helping as well. So I just wanted to let you know that we're on top of it, we share your concerns, and we will do everything we can. Thank you.
Thank you. On item number 9, legislation introduced by council, committee reports, and consideration of resolutions of council for second reading adoption under suspension of rules. Could I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor, say aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. The rules are suspended.
Resolution number 2016-0101, determining the services and programs that shall be provided and funded from the Veteran Services Fund in 2016, authorizing payments to various providers in the total amount of $355,681 for said services and programs for the period ending December 31, 2017. Additionally, Councilmember Hairston would like to be added as a sponsor to this legislation.
Second.
Seconded, any discussion?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We heard this resolution in the committee and met twice on it just to talk about how the funds were going to be dispersed as part of this program. And we're consistently giving to different veteran programs, including the courts, legal aid, and we talked specifically about Fisher House, enabling this structure to be built in Cuyahoga County next to the Veterans Hospital. So I ask for your support.
Mr. President,
Yes.
if I may. Thank you. This obviously is a continuation of a program that sets Cuyahoga County apart from other counties in the state in that we are the only county of the 88 counties that has taken the efforts to set aside Veteran Service Commission funds returned back to the county to be repurposed specifically for the use of veterans. This is the fourth year we've been doing this, and through this program, we have been able to repurpose nearly $1.5 million to veterans in Cuyahoga County. And I commend the council and I commend the county for taking a leadership role in supporting our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Strawn?
And I too want to compliment this council for recognizing that these funds belong to the veterans. They were not funds that should go into the general fund the way the other 87 counties, I believe, do. And with special recognition, I'm thrilled to see that we are going to be making another contribution to the Fisher House. This will be a permanent location similar to a Ronald McDonald's house for our veterans, and I think it is a terrific statement for this council to be stepping forward on that, and I'm thrilled to be that. And I would ordinarily don't ask to have my name added, but if it could have my name as a veteran, I'm proud to be there. Thank you.
Please add Councilman Strawn's name. Any other comments?
I'd like to add my name.
Please add Councilwoman Conwell's name.
My name.
Please add Councilman Germana's name. All right. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2016-0124, adopting various changes to the Cuyahoga County non-bargaining classification plan. This item was pending committee recommendation, and it did in fact receive that recommendation to be referred to the full council for second reading adoption under suspension of rules.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, this resolution was heard this morning. As Jean stated in committee, 3 categories of classifications were discussed within the legislation, new, revised, and a deletion of one due to a position which is now included in the labor's union. The committee seeks passage under second reading suspension, basically to accommodate HR department's need to hire the talent acquisition and employment specialist.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Committee reports and consideration of ordinances of council for second reading.
Ordinance number 2015-0017, amending Chapter 709 of the Cuyahoga County Code to establish a competitive review process for the award of Casino Revenue Fund loans, enacting Section 207.05, creating the Casino Revenue Development Committee.
This item will move to the September the 13th council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption.
Mr. President, I just have a comment on this.
Yes, Councilwoman.
So I just want council colleagues to know I'll be submitting an amendment to this, or working with my colleagues to get an amendment to the makeup of the composition of this panel. I wasn't able to attend the meeting, but I have some comments and ideas about how that panel should be made up.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Committee, not panel.
Okay.
Ordinance number 2016-0011, amending section 202.10 of the Cuyahoga County Code to provide for the creation and adoption of a county health and human services plan. Additionally, Councilmember Brown has requested to be a sponsor on this legislation.
All right, well, this item will move to the September 13th council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption. Legislation introduced by the executive. Consideration of resolutions for first reading adoption under suspension of rules. Could I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules.
I second the motion.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. The rules have been suspended.
Resolution number 2016-0138, amending the 2016-2017 biennial operating budget for 2016 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations, for appropriation transfers, and for cash transfers.
Motion to adopt. Mr. President,
Councilman?
thank you. This is our traditional agenda biweekly fiscal item. Council has submitted questions to the administration. The answers have been provided to us, and I urge my colleagues for their support.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2016-0139, accepting, rejecting the report containing findings and recommendations of fact finder Howard Silver regarding negotiations between Cuyahoga County and International Union of Operating Engineers Local 18 for a collective bargaining agreement representing approximately 9 employees in the classifications of heavy machine operator and construction backhoe operator in the Department of Public Works.
This was the item that was discussed in executive session. The council will take no action, further action at this time.
Resolution number 2016-0140, rescinding resolution number 2014-0271, dated October 27, 2015, which authorized a casino revenue fund loan in the amount not to exceed $4 million to Landmark May for the benefit of the May Company building project located at 158 Euclid Avenue, Cleveland.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. This rescinds the $4 million from the project that we set aside almost 2 years ago. I think everybody's pretty familiar with it and the fact that unfortunately the project was not able to get the tax credits that it needed. This does not forego the future of the project, but at this time the administration is moving to rescind this $4 million. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. Resolution is adopted. Consideration of resolutions for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution number 2016-0141, making awards on requisition number 29315 to various providers in the total amount not to exceed $25 million for various services for the enterprise resource planning system for various time periods to the providers and for the services as printed on the agenda.
And this will be referred to finance.
Resolution number 2016-0142, authorizing a contract with Mythix Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $595,935.06 for Oracle database software support and maintenance for the period June 1, 2016 through May 31, 2018.
Also be referred to finance.
Resolution number 2016-0143, authorizing an agreement with the Metro Health System in the amount not to exceed $1,990,692.20 for healthcare and management services for youth residing at the County Detention Center for the period May 1, 2016 through December 31, 2017.
Referred to public safety.
Resolution number 2016-0144, authorizing a contract with Emerald Development and Economic Network Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $971,262 for administration of the fiscal year 2015 Shelter Plus Care sponsor-based rental assistance program for the period September 1, 2016 through August 31, 2017.
Referred to Health and Human Services. Chuck, we couldn't find anything to send to your committee.
Wow.
It's one of the hardest working committees on the council. Committee report and consideration of a resolution for second reading.
Resolution number 2016-0136, approving right-of-way plans as set forth in plat number M5026 for replacement of Columbus Road Bridge number 01.09 over Bear Creek in the city of Bedford, authorizing the county executive through the Department of Public Works to acquire said necessary rights-of-way.
This item will be referred to the September 13th council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption. Committee reports and consideration of resolutions for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules. Could I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. The rules have been suspended.
Resolution number 2016-0133, authorizing a contract with Engineered Arresting Systems Corporation, doing business as Zodiac Arresting Systems America, in the amount not to exceed $5,981,448 for purchase of engineered material arresting system for the County Airport Runway Safety Improvements Project for the period August 24, 2016 through December 31, 2018.
Move to approve.
Then moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, we heard this in committee, and it needs to get moved forward, so this is why it's on second reading suspension.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2016-0134, fixing the 2017 water, storm, and sanitary sewer maintenance and/or sewerage treatment rates for County Sewer District numbers 1, 1A, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 13, 14, 18, 20, 21, 22, and 24.
Move to adopt.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman? This is contract, or we're setting contract rates for sewer maintenance. We do this every year. And at this time, we do have one correction. These rates are set by the cities and the city councils, and there is one correction for an increase in Newburgh Heights. So that we'd have this all under one contract, I'd like to move for substitute Resolution 2016-0134. If I could have a second.
Second.
What we're changing here is their rate in Newburgh Heights. That's on page 105 of the agenda. It was $5.50, and Newburgh Heights is requesting that it be moved up to $6.20. So it's so noted. And again, this is all the city's funds, so it doesn't affect any of Cuyahoga County's budget.
Any discussion on the proposed substitute? All those in favor of accepting the proposed substitute, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. The proposed substitute is accepted. Any further discussion? All those in favor of adopting the resolution on its merits as substituted, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted on its merits as substituted.
Mr. Chairman, if you'd add my name, please.
Councilman Jones' name.
Resolution number 2016-0135, approving and confirming the 2017 water, storm, and sanitary sewer maintenance and/or sewerage treatment assessments for the County Sewer District numbers 1, 1A, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 13, 14, 18, 20, 21, 22, and 24.
Move to adopt.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. President, this is a resolution confirming the last resolution that we just did. I've never missed the opportunity to say that the sanitary and engineer program is one of my favorite programs and one of the best things the city of Parma ever did during my 19 years there. So I move for approval.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Committee report and consideration of an ordinance for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules. Can I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Move to suspend the rules.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. The rules have been suspended.
Ordinance number 2015-0018, enacting section 806.03 of the Cuyahoga County Code to establish the Cuyahoga County Public Works Shared Services Program as part of shared services provided to political subdivisions by the Department of Public Works. Additionally, Councilmember Harrison has requested to be a sponsor to this legislation.
Okay.
Move to adopt.
Been moved and seconded.
Mr. President, this ordinance was heard in Public Works, and basically this is advancing the ability for governmental agencies to collaborate, in particular with pieces of equipment that they may need to borrow, and in a lot of cases, it's pieces of equipment with people that are trained how to operate it. This is something where the rates have been negotiated. It's not an expense to the county, and it's a help to all these cities that may not need or may have the need but won't have the equipment, and instead of hiring a contractor, they would be able to do it with this collaboration event. Since there's still time in the construction year, that's why we thought we should move ahead for second reading adoption, especially since we're not going to have another meeting until September.
I understand. Thank you, Councilman. I understand Councilman Greenspan, you have a comment? Or?
Thank you, Mr. President. This was a piece of legislation that was originally brought forward and had its first reading in December of last year. And this is an important piece of legislation as it further not only assists our communities with public works needs, but it also serves as a model for collaboration between Cuyahoga County, other surrounding counties, other counties throughout the state, and political subdivisions, as it is in coordination with the Auditor of State's office and a platform and initiative that the Auditor's office has brought forward in order to foster better communication and use of resources for communities and political subdivisions throughout the state. I had the honor of speaking and testifying on behalf of a House bill before the Ohio Senate last year as it related to the indemnification of the political subdivisions that participate in this program. That is the reason for the delay of this piece of legislation from December till now, is the legislature was able to pass this and the governor signed it just a few months ago. So the indemnification to political subdivisions that participate is now in place, and I'm happy to sponsor this legislation and bring it forward. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to add that we did have input from the Auditor of State's office.
Thank you. Any other comments or discussion on this piece? If not, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Miscellaneous committee reports.
Safety Tuesday, 10 o'clock.
Safety Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Anybody else?
Finance and Budget will meet the 15th at 1 p.m. to review the items referred to committee.
Mr. President, the Intergovernmental Relations and Operations Committee will meet on a regular time, but not for a little while. It will be on Tuesday, September 20th at 3 o'clock. And this meeting will last the full 2 hours, maybe a tad more. We're going to both have the semi-annual report from the Inspector General, and also our lobby representatives from Columbus are going to come and give us an update. Thank you.
Chuck, nothing?
Actually, I was going to say something about, as a result of our conversation today in Human Resources, there's going to be a all-day meeting on August 29th, and the brainstorming and collaboration between Human Resources and the PRC, and it's going to be culminating in a briefing at the end to come up with what the collaboration has been. And I asked Mr. Kelly to let all council know what time that's going to happen on the afternoon of August 29th, because I think it's great that we're moving forward and trying to streamline and move things to make this a better system.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. I thought I had you. Councilwoman?
Just to add to Councilman Germana, it will basically be only for the unclassified positions, and they're trying to move it to 45 days of filling positions only for the unclassified employees. So let's keep that in mind. As far as Human Resources Appointment and Equity, we will be having hearings throughout the fall in regards to classification and things in regards to the Human Resources Department as well as PRC and County Council. So I would ask that the employees stay tuned to those on the website. And as far as committee, the next one, if we have something, it won't be, because we're not coming back to the 13th, right?
Right.
So we won't have Human Resources Appointment and Equity Committee on the 20th if something comes out off the agenda. Thank you.
Anybody else?
The Health, Human Services, and Aging Committee will meet at our regular time, 8 days from today, on August 17th at 1 p.m. Again, to deal with the items referred today.
All right. Any other miscellaneous business?
Mr. President, just one on Friday, this Friday at 10 a.m. in council chambers, the annual community development meeting will be taking place, and the CDSG legislation, as well as community development block grant programs, storefront renovation programs, will all be explained to all of our communities and CDCs. So if council members are able to participate and attend, it's 10 a.m. here in council chambers this Friday. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'll share with my colleagues. Tomorrow I'll be meeting with our Director of Safety to discuss some of the efforts for a child sex abuse center here in our county. But in 1 week, I will be traveling with Director Pristo and a few others, a team of others, to look at a best practice child sex abuse center in Nebraska, where our director has come from. And so it'll be an opportunity just to learn a little bit of how they do things there and some of the efforts here locally. And I look forward to updating you more as I learn more about it. It's also, the trip is a one-day trip, and it's the transportation is being provided by a local grant. So those things are covered. And again, I look forward to sharing more with you as I learn more.
Thank you, Councilman. I just want to remind everybody that like I'm sure you haven't forgotten, I'm actually reminding the administration of this, actually, because I'm pretty sure the councilmen know it, that the Tuesday meeting of the council for August the 23rd, 16 will be canceled, has been canceled, is canceled. So please take that into consideration as you move your agendas forward. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Ayes have it. Council is adjourned.